everyone, and welcome to The Crows Show, brought to us by Foodland. I'm Mark Bickley.
And I'm Alana Smith. Each week, together with the players and coaches, we take you behind the scenes at Westlakes as we fly as one in 2018.
Coming up in today's show, Curtly's back and aiming high.
Curtly with a curler.
And are the games too long? It's an issue we'll examine shortly.
But first, the special friendship that has survived long distance and divided loyalties. When Adelaide's Sam Jacobs and Richmond's Shaun Grigg crossed the white line on Friday night, their close bond was put to one side. They both started their careers at Carlton in 2007, and during the early years the pair lived together and developed a relationship which is now stronger than ever. So let's find out how much they really know about each other.
Hey Cricket, we've known each other for a long time now. Let's find out exactly how well we know each other.
Good luck, Big Sauce. Question 1, what car did I have whilst we lived together at Caroline Street?
You had an old white Commodore.
The answer was the old white Holden.
Do I pronounce it shower or share?
Share. What did I have to retrieve out of our lounge room wall? Who did it and how did it get there?
You had to retrieve a golf ball. We thought it was a good idea to play golf inside one night when we were young and silly, but not a great memory. What was the first car that I had in Melbourne?
It was an old maroon Ford, BA Ford. Oh, AU Ford, close. Why couldn't we lose skin folds in our first year?
Probably the Waterloo Hotel.
The answer was we went to the movies once a week, ate family-sized popcorn and a Coke.
How many showdown medals have I won?
3. What did I buy from the local butcher?
Lemon pepper chickens.
Lemon chicken breast.
Would I watch South Park or would I watch Family Guy?
We spent countless hours watching South Park, double episodes I can remember well. What computer game did we spend countless hours on?
I can't remember. Stump me.
And the answer was International Cricket Captain.
Yeah, of course.
Both Jacobs and Grigg left Carlton at the end of 2010. Now, there are some players like Curtly Hampton who always look like they've got more time with the ball than others. After an injury-interrupted year, it's great to see him back playing at the top level. With an important second half of the season coming up for the Crows, Hampton is looking to have a big impact. We catch up with the smooth mover, all thanks to Revolution Roofing.
Just his second game this year, Curtly Hampton.
For real, get ready now.
Curtly with a curler. Another one for the Crows.
I was in the team round 1 and then injured my adducter and injured it about 3 times within the space of 6 weeks, so that was pretty frustrating, coming off a pretty good pre-season as well. But when you're in the AFL for a while, you understand how quickly things can change. The team's going to change and you're going to get your opportunity eventually if you play good footy in the sample, which is what I just try to focus on.
He's had a very good pre-season, and as he kicked the goal, he has.
Very young side in the sample, so I think at one stage me and Alex Keith were the oldest on the team, and we're only 25, so I sort of try to take on that leadership role, which is something different for me. Not really a talkative person, but more by action with my leadership, so that was something that I changed a bit, is coming out of my shell a little bit more, trying to talk to the younger blokes, which I felt like it helped my footy. And then I just felt more comfortable coming into the side on the weekend, a bit more out of my, not in my shell, and comfortable to talk to anyone and give blokes feedback, receive feedback during the game. I feel like I've matured a little bit, like it sounds weird, but I feel like I've matured a bit within the space of a couple of months, and I feel like it's helped my footy as well.
Like other players, Curtly is well aware of the incredible pace of today's AFL, and that raises a question about the length of games. It's something that's been discussed already by key AFL stakeholders. Mark, can you see a case for reducing the length of games?
Yeah, look, I'm yet to be convinced that it's going to make a whole lot of difference. I know that the trends are people are time poor and you want to compact it. In isolation, I'm not sure, but if it's part of a bigger picture, and one of the things that's been talked about is if the games are shorter, that maybe the season can be longer and that can make things a little bit fairer with the draw. So if it is part of a bigger picture, I'm willing to have a look at it.
There was no discussion yesterday, Jared, on the length of the games. My personal views, it's something that we need to look at. I don't think they need to go for as long as they currently do. To be honest, I think that's a bit of a shared view from quite a few players, that there's, it wouldn't hurt by reducing the length of games.
Well, Patrick Dangerfield, the Players Association president, says that shorter games would be more entertaining. Do you agree with that? And if so, how much weight does players' views have?
well, players are a key stakeholder, so I can understand why they would be asked. But will it be more entertaining? I don't know. I think that's the aim, isn't it? If you could compress the game and make sure you don't lose any of the good bits and just have more good bits in a shorter package, I think that'd be good, but I'm not sure that you can guarantee that.
Yeah, no guarantees, are there? If this was to take place, how much shorter should games be? What sort of structure would we be looking at?
Well, look, I think you're talking probably about 5 or so minutes per quarter. So if the game, roughly goes 120 minutes now, I think they're looking at about 100 minutes. I think they can also look at half-time breaks, quarter-time breaks, things like that. 20 minutes at half-time, for me, I reckon that can probably be closer to 10, and, maybe 2 or 3 minutes for the quarter-time and three-quarter-time breaks, and all of a sudden you've compacted it fairly well.
Well, it is a big issue for the game. We'll watch this space. Do stay with us after the break. Football pedigree on display as sons and daughters come out to play. And as we go to the break, remember that for more Crows content, tune into Footy Plus following the Crows and Cats clash on Thursday night, featuring guest host Belinda Sloan. Now, one player the Crows have sorely missed this year is Brodie Smith. But while he hasn't been giving opposition forwards a hard time, he has been taking it out on some of the club's youngest supporters, all thanks to Thomas Farms.
Welcome to Thomas Farms Junior Jams. This week we've got Ivy. Hello, Ivy. Can you tell me how old you are?
6.
6. Do you play footy?
No.
And who's your favourite footy player?
Eddie.
And what about, do you follow the women's game? Who's your favourite women's player?
Chelsea.
Chelsea Randall. Nice. What's the best thing about being a kid?
That they can't find you.
They can't find you? Who can't find you?
My brothers.
Do you hide from your brothers? Why do you hide from your brothers?
Because they're annoying.
What's the grossest thing you can think of?
Snakes.
Snakes. What about, what's something gross your brothers have done?
Pooed on the ground.
Who's cooler, forwards or defenders?
Defenders.
And why is that?
Because
I'm a defender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good answer. And if you could have fingers as long as your legs, or legs as long as your fingers?
Legs.
Legs as long as your fingers, and be really small? Yeah? You happy with that? You sure? All right, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Well, don't forget to sign up as a junior member. Just head to 19thman.com.au. Well, last week, Crows fans were treated to something special from famous names. The likes of Rashuto, Modra and Bickley were out on Adelaide Oval, but they weren't the faces we know. The sons and daughters of former players took part in a specially organised game, and some very keen dads were watching on from the sidelines. It's hard to know who enjoyed the day more, the children or their proud dads.
It's absolutely magnificent. I mean, my little bloke, for one, has been going on about it for the last couple of weeks. When is it? How long is it? What are we doing? And finally it's arrived. So it's a great initiative that the footy club are doing.
Some of the names read like a who's who of club legends. Micken, Rashuto, Jamison, Bickley, Robran, Modra.
Originally it was fathers v sons and daughters, and the old boys were going to walk out and have a game. It's now, because I think there's so many kids playing, it's a kids game of footy on Adelaide Oval. I mean, to be able to play on the hallowed turf of Adelaide Oval is such a great thrill for them.
The sons and daughters, little ones and teenagers, played 2 20-minute halves. For Eddie Betts, it was a chance to see his boys at close quarters.
Louis has been teasing me at home, so I got me covered, so I said, mate, listen, all right, I'm going to join in. I'm going to show you how it's done and teach you the ropes, buddy. Don't run past me because I'll clean you up. Let all the other guys run for you. You watch Dad. You stay in the pocket, you'll get the ball, you'll kick the goal. Stay here and here. Trust me.
Before the game, 3-year-old Billy didn't want to miss out.
We got into roughs in here. What's wrong?
Oh, the blue ball.
Okay, well, you go get a blue ball and I'll get it for you. See there? Go get it. Run.
Eddie spoke for all the families.
It's great to have all the kids down here, boys and girls, to play this wonderful game, and it's all about having fun and enjoying it.
After their game, the children stayed for the big clash against the Eagles, a day to remember and no doubt the first of many.
To do it once a year, twice a year, keep that connection, I think is really important. I mean, that's what builds footy clubs.
Well, gee, Mark, that must have been a thrill for you.
Yeah, it was great watching Tyson and Xavier, my two boys, running around on Adelaide Oval, and of course seeing so many of the ex-Crows players there with their sons and daughters having such a great time.
Yeah, plenty of future talent on show. Do stay with us. Coming up on the Crows Show, he was known as the Prez, and he had some of the best hands in the game.
And winning the mind games. Through the 80s and early 90s, there were few better high marks in the game than Bruce Lindner. He started at West Adelaide, went on to play for Geelong and was a member of the Crows' inaugural squad, kicking 4 goals in that first game victory over the Hawks. During his time at Westies, he formed a very potent forward line with Roger Luders and Mike Smith. This High Flyers segment, brought to you by Flight Centre, features some of his great grabs.
Delivers a good kick to full forward. Lindner with a climb. He was up there forever.
Playing at full forward, and it's one of those times when you know where the ball's coming in from. Your defender's probably slightly underneath you in the sense of he's slightly in the wrong position, and you get a chance to run and jump at it. And yeah, I was able to get on his shoulders for a little while and take one, so and it stuck. Yeah, he said, oh, this is mark of the year, but unfortunately I missed out on the car because it was Alistair Lynch. Took a better one 2 weeks later. But at West Adelaide I played at centre half forward, so it was a bit more of a pivotal role in the sense of, you know, getting the ball through and getting it to Roger Luders.
Morris in front, Harvey there with him, Luders!
Roger was probably one of the best high markers I've actually seen. It's part of my game that I had to, just to be competitive, I had to sort of develop. And there's still some great marks. You know, Eddie's taken a few, and you know, Jeremy Howe from Collingwood obviously picks them up, and it's obviously an inherent characteristic that they have, which they utilise when they can. But you know, it's so fast moving these days, you don't get that stop-start opportunity to jump on someone's shoulders too often. And I'm guessing, you know, going for high marks is a bit of a risk-reward scenario, so I wouldn't think that too many of the coaches would like that.
Lindner with a climb. He was up there forever.
Bruce played just 8 games for Adelaide before breaking his leg in a trail bike accident and retiring. Now, each season, the Crows Children's Foundation partners with charities to help them assist youngsters in the community. This year, it's contributing $35,000 to an organisation known as Big Brothers, Big Sisters, which runs a mentoring program aimed at vulnerable young people. Big Sam Jacobs is someone who has benefited from mentoring during his career. Now, we often hear it said that elite sport is 10% physical and 90% mental. The Adelaide Football Club is always looking at how to improve the mental awareness of its players so they can cope with the expectations of competing at the highest level. In this segment, brought to you by the Breakthrough Mental Health Research Foundation, we look at the benefits of what's known as mindfulness.
Mindfulness is a pretty common word buzzing around these days, and it can kind of be defined as 2 main parts. The first is learning to pay attention to the present moment. The second part of it is the attitude that we learn to bring to our present moment experience. In sport, I guess it can have a direct and an indirect effect. So if you're enjoying life more and dealing with the ups and downs of life better, then your performance is going to be better, whether that's at work or in sport, just because you're less distracted.
Yeah, mindset's obviously super important. I think through injuries, and particularly when you've gone through a lot of injuries in the past, it's easy to fall into the trap of being negative about it and thinking of the doom and gloom and the things that have happened in the past. But I just try and focus on what my future looks like and what I can do to ensure I give myself every chance.
Now we know. It's a draw. It's a classic.
So if you've got 100,000 fans screaming at you and you're having to kick a goal, you can either be caught up in your mind about the implications of that, or you can literally switch mental gears to focus on what's happening in the present moment with the physical sensations in your body and your breathing and connecting with your muscles and what you've been trained to do many, many times before.
Earlier, we looked at the likely impact of shortening the game from the players' perspective. After the break, we'll hear what the fans think.
We're reminded every week how much the game has changed in recent years, and to succeed at the highest level, players now have to be multidimensional. In this segment, Toyota Hybrid Heroes, we ask Crows players what the ultimate hybrid player looks like and which skills and attributes they would like to add to their game.
For his first ever goal in AFL football! He's doing the goose step to celebrate!
First player that's a hybrid player that comes to mind would be Nat Fyfe, I reckon, from Freo. Got the height of a key forward or a key back. He's got the build of a premium mid and can also run like a premium mid, but he's good on the ground like a small bloke and also can take grabs as if he's a leaping forward. So yeah, he's probably the best hybrid player in the game.
Outside of the boot, the superstar goes for home.
Love to have 30 plus touches every week like Lairdy. He just always seems to find it, and yeah, it'd be nice to have that much of the ball, and then also I'd like to be able to kick him from 65 and just wheel around on the left like Buddy. So if I could steal his left boot and add that to my game, I think it'd be all right.
And he kicks it, what else would he do?
Returning now to our earlier topic of discussion, the length of games. The fans paid to see a good contest over roughly 2 hours or so. So what do they think?
No. I enjoy it the way it is. I don't agree with Dangerfield, I'm afraid.
It can be, yes. No.
No, I think it's fine. Yeah. No, it's good.
No.
No, it's pretty good. No, not really. I mean, geez, they're big enough boys, they should be able to handle it.
Let's stay with the fans and look around for our face in the crowd. Why don't we settle on you? If you recognise yourself, contact the club by 5 p.m. next Wednesday. Have some photo ID to show us, and a merchandise pack from Toyota will be yours.
Alana, that just about wraps up our show today, brought to us by Foodland.
Now don't forget, for all the latest news, visit the club website, afc.com.au, as well as Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, and a reminder about our own Twitter account, @TheCrows
Yeah, make sure you follow us, and also join us again next week when we'll be talking to Malcolm Blythe.
Yep, it's an interview you do not want to miss.
So tune in next Sunday, 11:30 on 7.
Thanks for your company. We'll see you then.
Bye for now.